Well, hey, good evening out there to you. I'm meteorologist Maggie McCauley, or good morning, maybe I should say. I don't really know what to say with you with this time period we got going on. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has clipped a portion of our county. I'm talking a very small portion of Tishomingo County, but a storm that will eventually drop into Tishomingo County. So I did want to go ahead and go on and give you guys an update here at 12:07 a.m. So thanks if you're up. Watching with us, you might be up because you're hearing the rumbles of thunder from this. Right now, we're watching the storm. It's in Savannah, Tennessee. Okay, so it has not crossed over the Tennessee state line, Tennessee-Mississippi state line just yet, but eventually it will. And again, this storm is severe warned. The National Weather Service did go ahead and put on a tornado possible tag for this because of broad rotation. Now, I will say I haven't, with the latest few scans, yes, there is some broad rotation, but overall not enough for them to go ahead and pull a full-on tornado warning with this. It's just something they are watching. It's something that we are keeping an eye on right now, seeing that mainly issued for just gusty winds out there. So keeping a very close eye on what the National Weather Service is saying with this. Of course, if they update this, we will let you know, but it's moving south at 15 miles an hour. So I did want to go ahead and put a storm track on this. If you're waking up with us in Tishomingo County, the storm, very heavy rainfall, lots of lightning that will probably wake you up once it does make its way into Tishomingo County. And again, we're watching for some broad rotation on it as well. So right now, wind and hail, the primary threat. But again, keeping a very close eye on it as well. So let's go ahead and put a track on it. Again, it says it was moving south at 15 miles an hour. And I'm going ahead and looking at what they're saying for this as well. I think they went ahead and updated the warning. Same story here. So let me look at exactly what they're saying. They're still saying it's moving south at 15 miles an hour. So we're still going to track it the same way. So here's a look at this. Let me take a few minutes to put a track on this. Again, kind of a different movement with these moving directly south at 15 miles an hour. I'm going to have this moving a little bit faster, and then I'll adjust it because I do want to make it all the way to Iuka and 72 out there this morning for folks that might be waking up with us there. Let me adjust this behind the scenes. I'm going to put the speed down ever so slightly because, again, they said it was moving 15 miles an hour, and that is not very fast. And I'll go ahead and put the length up as well. So here's a look at when it's going to be going into Tishomingo County, this severe warned storm. Look at this. This is going to be going into Nixon, so that's still off in Tennessee around 12:16 a.m. Wind Springs around 12:34 into places like Caney Hollow, which is right on the Mississippi-Tennessee state line, around 12:36. So really watching this move around 12:40, crossing over the Mississippi and Tennessee state line. They're saying this cell is kind of cycling up and down. So keep an eye again on what they're saying over in the National Weather Service chat in Memphis. Cook's Landing around 12:51, High Point around 12:51, Pine Flat around 12:55, Crossroads around 103, Bacon Springs 107, into places like Pinedale 120, Iuka, if this holds together, it will be in your area around 1:23 a.m. and Blythe Crossing around 1:27 a.m. So probably around 1:30 is when I expect it to cross over 72. Again, this storm is kind of cycling. I'm not saying it is still going to be severe once it makes its way into places like the severe warning does not go extended far into Tishomingo County at all, but still want to track it all the way there because if it does, this is when it's going to be into your area. And again, they are continuing the tornado possible. And let me show you why they're doing that. So that's the overall track. Again, if you are waking up with us in Tishomingo County, here's a look at this. So we're seeing some broad rotation with this, and we've been seeing it kind of on and off. You can see where those greens and reds start mixing in together. Not a clear rotation with this, but still some green and some reds that are getting a little bit close together, making enough for a tornado possible tag to be put on this. And if I show you, you can kind of see that it has continued to have, especially at 11:59, right before midnight, that green and red kind of line up together right along Savannah and Austin, Tennessee. If we put this over the latest few scans, it kind of goes in and out. And you can see actually our rotation marker picking up on that as well and giving us a heads up with that. And that continues again to kind of be on and off. So watching for the potential of some rotation. Again, it's not clear enough for them to have a tornado warning, and we weren't expecting any tornado warnings overnight, but we're keeping a close eye on this storm nonetheless because of its potential rotation out there. So keeping a close eye on this again. This is off in Tennessee, but we're keeping an eye on it for Tishomingo County. And you can see the warning right here. The warning's in yellow. Extends barely into Tishomingo County, enough if you have your alerts on in Tishomingo County that you're going to get that. But overall, barely clipping there. It's still well into Tennessee. And again, I wouldn't expect it to cross over until closer to 140 out here overall, but lots of lightning. If I zoom in just to this storm, or at least I try my best, I mean, over 500 strikes probably of lightning just from this storm. So this is definitely waking some people up this morning in Savannah, Tennessee, Walkertown, Tennessee, Maddox, Tennessee as well. If you know anybody that lives over the Tennessee state line, this is definitely waking them up. And the closer it gets to Tishomingo County, I'd expect it to do the same if the lightning stays where it is. Very loud storm out there. And they're saying the lightning has gone back up because it's kind of doing a little cycle out here. So keeping a very close eye on that. I want to show you everything else out there this morning. Again, if I'm supposed to say morning, y'all let me know if I need to be saying something else. But at 12:13 a.m. Here's a look at everything else, and I'm going to get a drink of water while I show you this as well. But everything else is below severe limits that is close to our area. So that's some good news out there, right? So seeing some storms stretching into northeastern Arkansas from Forest City off to Hughes, close to Tunica and DeSoto County, close to the area, all below severe limits. Some more storms off in Jackson, Tennessee. Again, all of these are going to be dropping into the area, hopefully. And what the models say is they lose steam the closer they get into Mississippi and the more they get into North Mississippi, but still watching these. But everything right now below severe limits other than that storm that is clipping Tishomingo County. So that's the one we're really keeping our eye on. If we look at our severe threats with this, yes, there could be some hail with it as well. I think the main threat right now is looking to be lightning, probably some very heavy rainfall and winds, but yes, some small hail possible with this. If I go ahead and put our track on that, yes, that's possible. And let me go ahead and look at that, what exactly that says, 60-mile wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So yes, it is possible to see some small hail from this as it does make its way through really in the core of where that storm is. So keeping a close eye on that, of course, for multiple reasons, but that has to be one of them as well. Very heavy rainfall out there along with a lot of lightning. If we look at our hail threat, True Shield Roofing putting up that possible marker, and you can see how long that goes. That goes from Cedar Grove. It's pretty long extended hail threat out there, that possible marker from True Shield Roofing going from Cedar Hill, Sardis. Again, this is in Tennessee, stretching all the way down to Oak Grove and Savannah and Maddox right now. So pretty good area indicated right here where this could have a potential hail core. Again, it's possible, not probable. So that's some good news out there, but definitely a possibility with this as well. Probably not going to know for sure because people are asleep, right? We usually know for sure when people let us know when they're awake and they see it in their yard. Probably won't be the case with this. Again, the heaviest of rain is now passed through Savannah in 64 and is now into places like Maddox. So keep an eye on this. If I have this looping over the last hour, you can really see the progression of the storm and where it's kind of just cycled in and out of severity. So they've continued that warning again going into, they've kind of clipped portions of that county over in Tennessee and then Hardin County, Tennessee. Had to make sure, I usually know the Tennessee counties, but you know, it's 12 in the morning. So sometimes your mind loses things, but they've clipped some of that Hardin County and then continued it again for Tishomingo County. And I could honestly see them continuing this for Tishomingo County as it makes its way through, just because the overall cycle and progression of this, and still keeping an eye on that very broad rotation again. Still very broad, still not overly concerning. Still do not expect them to be issuing a tornado warning with this, but they did keep that tornado possible tag. And we're still keeping an eye just to the south of Walkertown, north of Maddox. Again, where that red and that green are just trying to line up. So some broad rotation with it that we're definitely keeping an eye on. Again, the National Weather Service is definitely keeping their eye on as well. But again, right now, lots of lightning, heavy rainfall. And honestly, I could say the lightning has trended down. If I zoom in, again, still seeing over 200-300 strikes of lightning. So it's still a lot, but we were seeing over 400-500. So again, it just kind of keeps going through this cycle where it continues on and off. And we'll probably see that with a few other storms as well before the night is through. Making sure I'm keeping up with what you guys say in the chat. Someone said they were outside walking their dog in Midway right outside of Iuka and just saw constant lightning towards Tennessee. Yes, I will say if you are in Iuka, if you're in Tishomingo County,